Hello everybody. So I know everyone has been curious about these knockoff Mirage NECA Ninja Turtle action figures that were just released. I think they're only available on AliExpress, however you want to say it. I think it was a little over $100 with shipping and all that stuff. So, to give you a synopsis of the packaging, I mean, the packaging looks fantastic. I mean, it looks like the original Turtles, as far as the packaging goes. All the accessories look great. But the Turtles. So let's dive into the Turtles. I also have the original Turtles too that I'd like to dive into at some point, kind of compare the two. But right now I'm just focused on these guys. So the number one thing, the first guy I opened was Mikey. And the first thing I noticed about this guy is, yeah, he looks great. He looks fantastic, I mean, for the money. But one bad thing, look at this neck. I mean, it is just insanely long. I'm going to have to compare him to the other one, the original. But, even compared to these other guys, I mean, his neck is insanely long. It just looks silly. From the front, it looks fine. And then the other thing is, like, all around their necks, it's a little dark, which is okay, because I think it's a little bit like that on the originals, too. It doesn't bother me too much. But I will say I was expecting a little bit better from the shell. The shell is still not the best. I'm not sure if it looks like they tried to give it a wash, and it just kind of looks funky. I don't hate it. I was just kind of hoping they would do a little bit better with that. And obviously some of the detailing and some of the paint isn't quite as great as the originals. They almost got the color. Almost. It's almost there. Probably the closest of the knockoffs that I've seen, like the color of the skin. But yeah, Mikey's pretty cool. A couple other things I wanted to go over here. Donnie looks pretty great. I didn't really notice too much with this guy. His bow staff does come in half as it used to, or as it did on the previous version, rather. Donnie, I don't really have too many complaints about him. The paint is pretty good on him and everything, so Donnie's good. His sewer, whatever the hell this is called, is kind of coming off, but I think that would be the only thing. Raph, he doesn't quite look like the original. I'm not sure exactly what's off about him. Something about his face, but he still looks pretty great. There is a rather large issue going on here on the top of his head. Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out is these guys, on all four turtles, they come off. So there's no, you're not going to break them off this time on these guys, which is really nice. Let's see. I'm sure there's countless people who have accidentally pulled these off of their originals or the other knockoffs. Okay. And yeah, when you first get them out of the package, these are like stuck flat to their head kind of, but you just keep bending them and they come loose eventually and they look a little bit better. Yeah, so not much else to mention on this guy. He looks great. His size are really, seem nice quality and everything. Let's go to Leo. Leo has had some paint issues here. I noticed he's got some brown and splatter all over. There was some more too. I kind of scraped it off though. There's some paint issues going on here with the middle of the shell. It's pretty clear that's paint strokes, So, I mean, the paint is pretty sloppy. And on this guy in particular, it's really dark in here. I don't hate it, but it's still, not the best. Again, these things are, a fraction of the price of the originals. So the other thing I wanted to mention was that the reason I don't have Leo holding his swords is because these guys, the tips do not come off like on the originals. And I'm going to have to heat up his hands to get him in there. But yeah, that's Leo, and pretty much the same. To hold these guys, I mean, the quality of the plastic, it feels, pretty decent. I mean, it's not quite on par with the originals, but it's almost there. I had like a second or third generation set of knockoffs not too long ago, and they felt similar to this. They were like a really solid quality, really good quality, much better than the ones that you've been able to find on Ali recently. So yeah, these guys look great. I'm not even going to bother with the accessories because they're all pretty much the same as the originals. I don't really notice much difference there. All the weapons seem to be the same quality. Donnie's bow is like a little bendy, as a typical knockoff would be. It's not terrible though. I'm having trouble putting this into the pieces. It's just not going together very well. I'll have to heat it up. The fire hydrant is really cool. I mean, it fits right in there. No problems there. Yeah, so this thing is pretty cool. All the platforms are really cool. They do go together. This one wasn't quite popping in, but, you know, they pretty much go together pretty well. I had heard someone say that they weren't piecing together, but there's been no problem there on my end. So yeah, these guys are for the money. You can't really beat it. So if you got the money and they're still available, you might as well go pick them up if you want them. I mean, they're not perfect by any means, but they're, you know, for the money, they're pretty great. So that's all I got for you. Thanks.